Pregnant with my first, I told my husband I was going to breastfeed. Everybody knows that breast is best. Breast milk is passed on from mother to child, and it is densely packed with nutrients and vitamins and antioxidants, and it develops immunity, and it prevents food allergies, and it creates a bond. Breast is best. Everybody also knows that formula, on the other hand, is a man-made powder created in a laboratory and then manufactured in a factory with who knows what actually goes into it and what kind of quality control. I wasn't going to feed my baby poisonous powder, only breastfeeding. And it was all going to happen naturally and instinctively and all on its own. So as soon as my son was born, he was whisked away, even though there was no medical reason to, and I only got to hold him a few hours after. And we were just looking at each other. Me smelling him, and him making snoring sounds. But when I tried to put him on the boob, it was awkward. I didn't know what to do or how. He was squirming and fussing. Do I insist? Do I do something else? The squirming and the fussing was starting to get more vigorous and loud. Is he hungry? I mean, he's refusing, so not hungry then? So the nurse came in and she declared, yes, he was very hungry, starved since birth, a good few hours ago, and shoved in a bottle. He immediately calmed down and he closed his eyes, he made a few snoring sounds, and did a major poop. Well, I guess a little formula is okay. He clearly was hungry and he does need nourishment. And I suppose they do have quality control of what actually goes into it. Hopefully the natural instinct maybe just have not kicked in just yet. Let's try another time. But the same thing kept happening the next time and the time after and the time after that. And I just could not get my baby to get on the boob no matter how much I tried. And so, of course, after 3 days at the hospital, when we got back home, we just realized that we had nothing prepared for formula feeding. Bottles and sterilizers and distilled water and formula brands, we had done zero research into any of it. There wasn't going to be a need. Day 5 after birth, I was still trying desperately to introduce the baby to the boob without any success. I needed help. And so we figured out that actually there is a whole profession out there that specializes in breastfeeding, lactation consultant. And so, okay, fine, let's consult with a lactation consultant. She came in and she sat me down, looked at me gently, and in a calm and soothing voice said that my milk might have disappeared by now, because I didn't know any better that it was all about supply and demand. No demand, no supply. And if the baby doesn't provide the demand, then I would need to introduce demand by some other means to the body. She noticed the despair in my eyes and then made sure that I was okay, saying, well, the situation is critical, but not catastrophic. It is not impossible to reverse. But it would require a monumental amount of effort and dedication. Well, I was going to do anything. Breast is best. So, step 1, I urgently needed to get a hospital-grade pump. Okay, sure. What's a pump? I mean, I know what a pump is for like a car tire or a balloon, but in this case, here, in this context, oh, it's a machine that helps you express breast milk, like a cow in a milk farm. Right, okay, and so a hospital-grade pump is not like one of those small things that you can just put in your purse and go around your day and move on. Those are too soft and gentle. What was required in my case was this big thing on wheels. You rent it from a hospital, it's much more powerful, and then you plug it in an outlet, and then you plug yourself to it with suction cups that are connected to you through a small tube, and then there are bottles attached on each side of the contraption, and then you attach yourself to it through the cups, to the machine, to the outlet, and then you switch it on, and then the cups are squeezing the boob on each side, the stronger the level, the higher the level, the stronger the squeeze. And in case anybody wondering, yes, it does hurt. In order for me to reverse my supply, I would have to undergo an aggressive pumping regimen. I would have to pump for 30 minutes every 2 hours, 24 hours a day, day and night. And it would have to be from start to start, meaning that if I start, let's say, at 10, and it doesn't matter if I go at it for 5 minutes or for 30 minutes, I would still have to start the next session at 12. I would need to offer the baby the boob first before offering the bottle, always, and only after a good amount of effort, then succumb to giving a bottle. When I give a bottle, I first should offer whatever droplets of milk I would have expressed, and only after that, offer formula. So all the feeding and fussing and insisting and trying it more, good 30-40 minutes. All the pumping equipment and the bottles had to be sterilized after every time, another 20 minutes. All the changing of the clothing and diapers and rocking to sleep, that would bring me back to the full 2 hours when I do have to do it all over again. I also had a tear during birth, and so every time I went to the bathroom, I had to do a whole process so that the stitches don't get infected, so that would take me another 20 minutes at least for every toilet trip. I should also remember that I need to have a lot of food and water so that I stay nourished and hydrated so that I can provide milk. And I should also remember that I should sleep every time the baby's sleeping. Right. And so with all my efforts, I just could not get my baby to latch. He was just not a boob man. And I could hardly produce any milk with the pump. Maybe a couple of droplets every time, but not more than that. So we called the lactation consultant back again. This time, she suggests that, of course, I tried to get the baby to latch first, obviously, but failing that, after a good amount of effort, instead of giving a bottle, I should attach a tube to my boob and then plaster it, attach it to the plaster, and then put a funnel at the top and pour some formula through the funnel so that the baby knows that there is food coming from the boob and not the bottle. Right. So I'm to feed formula to my baby through a funnel? That would prepare him well for his future fraternity beer funnel parties. He would have been funneling pretty much since birth then. And how am I supposed to attach this whole setup on me every 2 hours, and that's while the baby's screaming with hunger, having been frustrated for a good while, trying with the boob first and that not working? My husband was saying, just stop with this pumping torture. It's not like we'll live somewhere where we don't have access to formula. I mean, if that was the case, sure, that would have been catastrophic, but it just wasn't the case. Plenty of choices, plenty of formula, and cans and bottles and powder and liquid and brands, whatever you want. Just enjoy your time with the baby. So the good thing was that 2 weeks after all these efforts, all 25 pounds that I gained during pregnancy and a whole bunch more were fully gone. The bad thing was that after 2 weeks, my husband had to go back to work, and it was going to be just me. Every 2 hours for 30 minutes from start to start, day and night, 24 hours, no break. The worst thing, there was no improvement in my milk production. Maybe a droplet or two every time, and not more than that. And so, I quit. I returned the pump, and I had my first, in 2 weeks, 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep. And the weight of the world just lifted off my shoulders. I tried, and I just could not. My son is a healthy boy. He's a good eater, no health problems, no food allergies. He's 20 years old now, a university student. Maybe breast is not always fast. Thank you.